if you bought Bitcoin or Ethereum or Dogecoin or Hex or anything much earlier, not anything, but any of the things that has good product market fit and durability, good security, well, you'd be up massive right now. You'd have life changing wealth. People talk about, oh, it's too late to buy Hex. You're like, oh, really? It's too late before it's listed on any big exchanges, before there's any documentaries, before there's a copy on another chain, while there's a 90% dip, and then also while there's only 107,000 stakers. That's when it's too late, because it sounds early to me. 1,000 days of perfect, flawless operation while everything else around us got wrecked. 1,000,000% price performance before staking. And it luckily dips once in a while. And some people get to participate at the dips. It takes effort and it takes time. So I'll give you an example. When did email basically kill normal mail? It took a long time. And when did the digital camera kill the analog camera? It took a while. When did MP3s kill CDs? That one was probably pretty quick, but maybe it was still 10 years. We are very close in that the technology's gotten better and better and better. When I first got into crypto, if you sent over 100 sends, it invalidated all your backups, because your backups would only cover the first 100 addresses, because it didn't use HD wallets where one seed word generated everything, or one seed phrase generated everything. It manually generated public private key pairs that then generated addresses, and then you would just lose all your stuff. And back then there were so fewer users and they used it so little, probably not that many guys ran into that particular problem, hopefully. Or maybe that's where all those unmoved coins are. You always look at all those unmoved coins, you're like, I wonder why those people never spent any of that money. It's always interesting. So when you want to replace everything, it helps to be 10 times better than what you're replacing. And the more harshly that governments crack down on their people, the more welcoming and more of a competitive advantage what we have has to offer. So in the Netherlands, they're destroying the farmers. I find that to be disgusting. And, in Canada, when they squash political protest by seizing the bank accounts of people that even sent money for other people to buy sandwiches. So you're guilty of a crime of funding sandwich purchases? Nope, not okay. As you said, freedom of movement destroyed, freedom of speech destroyed. And it really is. I mean, all the libertarian, this is what I've always found so funny. Libertarian guys would always say government bad. You're like, okay. They're private companies. Go start your own Facebook. And you're like, you can't actually do that. It doesn't work. Like they tried, I think Parler tried that, and then they got shut down. They lost their hosting. They got banned everywhere, And so there's an entrenched media conglomerate that controls the narrative about everything. Like I heard Zuckerberg on Rogan, and I read the comments, which you should never do. Comments are where happy people go to die. Particularly on channels that aren't mine. And somebody in the channel was like, hey, ask about Zuckerberg chucking like $400 million at influencing the election. And so why he acts fair and balanced in public when he talks about the decisions Facebook's made. And then you look at what he's doing privately. Apparently he's funding the crap out of left things. Now it's like, you want to be apolitical because you want to on-ramp every kind of user. But on the other hand, you want to live in a better place. And there's a very obvious difference between the guys that wouldn't let you travel, wouldn't let you see your family, still won't let you travel, and just treat you like a guinea pig. And, there's a particular type of politics that those people tend to like. And that disgusts me. And like this idea of like, hey, let's hire 80,000 agents for the IRS. And you're like, the government doesn't produce anything. They don't make anything. They just take your money and give it to other people. That's all they do. They don't farm. They don't build cars. They don't build planes. They don't build sodas. They don't make paint. All they do is take your money and give it to other people. And so the more human beings in the society that get sucked into the machine of redistributing other people's wealth, the less people there are left to bear the load of actually doing the work of making the world a better place. So I'll give you an example. Germany. Apparently 24% the price of gas in Germany is actually the price of gas. And the rest is all tax and crap. And so they tax it to death. So here's what they do. I mean, one of the tweets I've made recently that I liked more than others was, 2023 electric cars and blackouts. And that's really what it is. So they raise the tax on gas, hoping that the market decides to make electric more viable. And then they consequently make it so that electric doesn't work anymore because you don't have any gas, because batteries do not generate electricity. Batteries store energy. And where does the energy come from that they store? Well, in a lot of these countries, from burning gas and oil. And so batteries are not a solution for power generation, period. And they never will be. You still have to generate the power. And so, you've got gas prices up 2x, 3x in the UK, up 50, 60% in other countries like Italy. And it's wild to me that governments think that they can print their way into prosperity. Running the money printer doesn't make you a prosperous nation. Building stuff makes you a prosperous nation. So cryptocurrency is a more efficient medium of exchange, a more efficient store of value, a more durable good, a more recognizable good, nearly impossible to counterfeit. Traditionally, these other currencies are not. It has other properties such as, if you get paid and you wait enough confirmations, you really got paid. There's no chargebacks. But if in the United States you accept an ACH transfer, they can charge that back up to 6 months, maybe even a year later. You never really have the money. It's a joke. They can always claw it back. And wire transfers are different from ACH. And that's different than a merchant processing account. And that's different from PayPal law. So, cryptocurrency is one of the only technologies that exists that can return the power back to the people and make you rich at the same time. There's a lot of things you do to improve the world that cost you personally, and you don't end up profiting. You just end up losing. So hey, this guy's poor. You give him all your money. Now you're broke. He's rich. Okay. And he'll probably become broke again because that's how I got broke in the first place. That's why trust exists. So you trickle money at people so they don't just go blow it all. And then they're like, oh, well, I gave you all that money, you blew it all. That's why trust exists, so that you can trickle the money at them. So same thing with improving the world through crypto is that you can get rich doing it, and then you become stronger while you're making the world a better place. When you put your financial energy into peer-to-peer, open source, distributed, censorship resistant, known future issuance, something that gets more rare instead of more common, that's good for everybody that's involved. Obviously, what price you get in at makes a difference, and the rate at which you're acquiring new users and things like that. But it's a growth market. I mean, right now, the dollar's at its all-time low versus stuff, and other national currencies are at 20-year lows versus the dollar. So imagine if you held a currency that wasn't the dollar, another fiat currency, like say the euro, the dollar is down massive, and then the euro is down an extra third. It lost a third of its purchasing power over the last 15 years versus the dollar. And cryptocurrency would solve all that.